My boyfriend texted, "I'm staying at Lara's tonight." My reply changed everything. Welcome back with a new real shock story. Before we start, comment and tell me which city you're watching from. At the end, don't forget to subscribe and rate it from 0 to 10. Let's enjoy the story, everyone.
It started like any other evening. I had just closed my laptop after a long day of work, my fingers still aching from typing, my brain still half stuck in deadlines. The apartment smelled faintly of coffee, strong, bitter, and somehow comforting. I sat down on the couch, curling up under a blanket, staring at the city lights glowing softly outside my window. Ethan called around that time. He said he was staying at a friend's tonight. At first, I thought nothing of it. He'd done this before. It wasn't unusual, but there was something different in his voice this time. It was casual, sure, but there was a hesitation, a slight pause before he answered my questions. A hesitation I didn't notice at first. I brushed it off. I told myself I was just being tired, but something in my gut whispered differently. Something told me to be wary. I told myself not to think too much of it, poured myself another coffee, and tried to relax. But as I sat there, the quiet of my apartment began to feel heavier. It wasn't just silence, it was a silence that seemed to be waiting for something. My phone buzzed. It was a message from Ethan. It said, "Don't worry, everything's fine." Just like that, short, no details, no warmth, just fine. Something in me stirred. I knew I wasn't going to sleep easily tonight, so I did something I shouldn't have. I opened his messages. I told myself I wasn't snooping, just checking. But as soon as I saw what was there, my chest tightened. At first, the messages seemed normal, friends, chatting, laughing. But buried deeper were words that stopped me cold. "It's happening tonight. Be ready." I stared at it, my mind refusing to form a clear thought. What did it mean? My hands shook as I scrolled for more. A name kept appearing, Lena. I didn't know who she was. I tried calling Ethan. No answer. I texted him. Nothing. The unease inside me grew into something I couldn't ignore. I checked the messages again. There was an address. Not his friend's apartment. Somewhere else entirely. Somewhere unfamiliar. My heart pounded. I told myself I was imagining things, that I was reading too much into it, but my instinct, my gut was screaming at me to check. I grabbed my coat, my keys, and my phone, and I left my apartment without thinking. The streets were wet from a light rain. The air smelled of asphalt and cold air. My hands gripped the steering wheel so hard they hurt. Every stoplight felt like a countdown. Every shadow along the street a sign. I drove, my heart pounding louder than the sound of the rain. The address led me to a building at the edge of town, a place I'd never been before. It looked ordinary, but there was something about it that felt wrong. Quiet, too quiet. I stepped out of my car, my coat pulled tight against me. The air felt heavier here. I didn't know why I was doing this, but I knew I couldn't stop now. I walked toward the building, my shoes making soft splashes in puddles. The closer I got, the louder my heart beat. There was light under one door, voices low and urgent. My breath caught. I froze. I strained to hear. It was Ethan. I recognized his voice, and another voice, female.com, almost to calm. Lena. My mind raced. My stomach twisted. My hand found the doorframe. I peeked inside. What I saw, I wish I could unsee. Ethan, Lena, papers, photographs, scattered across a table. The room smelled of damp paper and something else I couldn't identify. Ethan looked up, his eyes widened. He froze, my breath caught in my throat. "Alec," his voice was low, tense. I stepped inside, the door shut behind me softly, but the sound felt like a gunshot in the silence. "What is this?" I said, my voice shaking. Ethan looked away. Lena didn't move. "You shouldn't be here," Ethan said quietly. I shook my head. "No, you shouldn't have lied to me." My voice broke. The anger and hurt in me felt sharper than the fear. And that's when Lena spoke. Her voice was steady. "It's too late. If she knows, there's no turning back." Something in me snapped. I took a step closer. My eyes fell on a photograph. It was Ethan standing in front of my own apartment building. But the date was weeks ago. I couldn't breathe. My thoughts spun. All the pieces started to fit together, and my heart sank deeper. This wasn't about a simple lie. It wasn't about cheating. It was something else. Something dangerous. Something he had been hiding from me all along. Ethan's voice trembled. "You have to leave, now." But I couldn't. My legs wouldn't obey me. My chest was heavy with betrayal, with fear, with something I couldn't name. and then I asked him, the words spilling out of me before I could stop them. What are you hiding from me? And the answer, I wasn't ready for it. When I said those words, what are you hiding from me? There was a silence so thick it felt like the air itself had stopped breathing. Ethan's eyes flickered between mine and the table, and I swear I saw a flash of something I didn't recognize. Fear, guilt, shame, all tangled together. Lena stepped closer, but she didn't speak. Her eyes didn't leave me, and that look, it wasn't friendly. It was cold, calculating. I felt my stomach knot tighter. Something in the room shifted. The air felt heavier. Ethan took a slow breath, like he was trying to gather courage. Alec, you don't know what's at stake, he said quietly. His voice cracked. I could hear it, his attempt to hold himself together. But I wasn't leaving, not until I got answers. I stepped forward. Then tell me, please, just tell me what's going on. He swallowed hard, his shoulders slumped. Finally, he spoke. There are things I promised I'd never involve you in. This isn't just about us. It's bigger. I blinked. Bigger. What does that even mean, Ethan? You lied to me for weeks. Lena finally spoke. Her voice was low, almost dangerous, because if she knew, it would put her in danger. I froze. Danger. My mind raced. What kind of danger? From who? From what? I stepped back instinctively, as if her words carried poison. Ethan moved toward the table, grabbing a thick stack of papers and photographs. He shoved them toward me. My breath hitched when I saw them, pictures of places I recognized, but had never been with him. Locations around the city. Locations that looked ordinary but somehow felt wrong when I saw them in those images. Some were night shots, others had dates, times, even names scribbled in the margins. Why are you showing me this? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Because you deserve the truth, Ethan said, his voice breaking. And because, you already know, you've been seeing the signs. I shook my head, confused. My heart pounded harder. This was madness. My own boyfriend, hiding something so deep I couldn't even imagine it. And then, Lena spoke again. She's already in it now. There's no turning back. I looked from her to Ethan. What is she talking about? I demanded. Ethan hesitated. His eyes met mine for a long moment, and I saw something in them I couldn't name. Regret, fear, resignation. Alec, this isn't safe. You need to leave. Please. But I couldn't. I needed to know. I needed him to tell me what was going on before I lost what was left of my sanity. I reached for the papers. My hands were shaking. Every fiber of me screamed to run. But my curiosity, my fear pushed me forward. As I unfolded one of the documents, I saw something that made my breath catch. A name. My name, written clearly. And next to it, a date. It was today's date. The world seemed to tilt under me. My knees felt weak. I gripped the table for balance. Why is my name here? I asked, my voice breaking. Ethan stepped back, his face pale. Lena's expression didn't change. Because you're part of it now, she said quietly. I didn't understand. I wanted to scream, to run, but my body was frozen. My mind was screaming. My heart felt like it had stopped. Then the sound came, a knock. Soft, but deliberate, like someone outside the room, waiting. Wheel froze. Ethan looked toward the door. Lena's face hardened. My breath came fast. I felt trapped. The knock came again, louder this time. Stay here, Ethan said. His voice was almost a whisper, but I didn't move. I watched him walk toward the door. My heart thudded in my chest so loud, I was sure the others could hear it. My mind screamed for me to leave, but some force inside me kept me rooted there, watching. The door opened. A shadow filled the frame. A voice came in, low and sharp. It's time. I didn't know if I should run or beg for answers. My world was collapsing. The person in that doorway stepped in, closing the door behind them, and in that instant, I knew this was the moment my life would never be the same. Something was about to happen, something I could never prepare for, and I still had no idea what truth I was walking into. The shadow in the doorway didn't step in fully at first, just enough to block the light behind them, enough to make my skin prickle with unease. My chest felt tight, my breath uneven, like I had been holding it without knowing. I could hear my own heartbeat in the silence. It was loud, erratic. A warning bell I couldn't ignore. Ethan stood frozen near the door, his hand barely touching the frame. Lena didn't move. The silence stretched so long I thought it would break me. Then the figure stepped fully into the room. A tall man, dressed all in black, his face hidden under a hood. His presence felt heavy, controlled, like someone used to having absolute power in a room. Ethan, the man said, his voice calm but edged with authority. You shouldn't have let her come this far. My stomach dropped. Her. He was talking about me. My throat tightened. Ethan's eyes flickered to me, full of something between apology and fear. I stepped forward, unable to keep quiet. Who are you? What is going on here? My voice shook. The man looked at me as if I was something fragile, like glass. Alec Rose, you have no idea what you've stepped into. Lena moved closer, almost to Ethan's side, but she kept her eyes on me. It's too late to turn back now, she said again, and her voice felt colder than the air in that room. I shook my head, trying to process. My mind was spinning so fast it hurt. Why was my name written on those papers? Why was today's date there? And what danger was Ethan trying to shield me from? I felt betrayed, terrified, and completely lost all at once. The man in black finally stepped toward the table, leaning over the scattered photographs. His finger traced one of them slowly. She doesn't know yet, he said, looking at Ethan. But she will, and when she does, it will change everything. My hand shot out. What will change? Tell me. My voice cracked. I was desperate now, my fear overtaking everything. Ethan turned to me. His voice was low but urgent. Alec, if you knew what was at stake, you wouldn't be standing here asking questions. You'd be running. I felt my body tense. Running. From what? The man in black finally looked at me directly. When he spoke, his words were slow, deliberate. From the truth. From the fact that your life, as you know it, is over. That statement hit me like a blow to the chest. My knees felt weak. I gripped the table to steady myself. Everything inside me screamed to run, to escape that room, but something held me there. I needed to know. Then Ethan stepped toward me, his voice breaking. Alec, listen to me. You've been living a lie without even knowing it. Lena and him, they're part of something I promised to protect you from. But tonight, it's here. It's coming for you. I blinked rapidly, trying to keep my tears back. Coming for me. What does that even mean? My voice shook with a mix of fear and anger. The man in black stepped closer, his presence dominating the room. You have 24 hours, Alec Rose. After that, there is no choice. My breath hitched. My mind screamed. 24 hours for what? To run, to hide, to die. I looked at Ethan. His eyes were pleading now. Please, don't do this. Just walk away. But I couldn't. Something inside me burned. I needed to know the truth, and even though my heart was pounding, even though every instinct screamed at me to leave, I stepped closer to them. The man in black's eyes narrowed. You'll have your answers soon enough. But be ready, Alec, because what happens next will decide everything. Before I could ask him what he meant, the sound came again. A knock at the door, sharp, deliberate, almost like a countdown. Ethan froze. Lena's eyes darted toward the door. The man in black looked at me for the first time with an expression that felt almost sorrowful. The knock came again, louder this time, and then a voice low, cold, and unrecognizable said, "It's time." Everything inside me screamed to run, but I couldn't move. My whole body felt glued to the spot. My heart was pounding so fast I thought it might burst. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. This wasn't about Ethan anymore. It wasn't about secrets, lies, or betrayal. This was about me. And whatever was coming, it was only just beginning. The knock at the door came again, louder this time, sharper. It echoed in the silence, like a warning. My breath came fast and uneven. Ethan's shoulders tensed. Lena's jaw clenched. Even the man in black seemed to shift, as though bracing for something. The door creaked open slowly. I could barely look, but my eyes flicked toward the figure behind it. Two men stepped inside, dressed in dark jackets. Faces unreadable under the low light. They didn't speak. Their eyes locked on me. My heart stopped. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to run. I couldn't. My legs felt like stone. The man in black stepped forward and closed the door behind them. The click of the lock sounded like a death sentence. He turned to me, his voice low, almost regretful. "Alec, this is it. What is it?" My voice was trembling. I was shaken. My hands were cold, clammy. My chest felt heavy, like something invisible was pressing down on me. Ethan stepped in front of me, as though shielding me. "They came for you," he said softly, almost to himself. "Because it's your time." My mind was spinning. I didn't understand. I didn't want to understand, but I knew something had changed. Whatever this was, I couldn't turn back. One of the men stepped forward slowly. He pulled out a small device. It looked like a phone, but not. A hum filled the air, low and unnatural. My skin crawled. I wanted to run. My heart was pounding in my ears. The man in black spoke again, his tone heavy. Alec Rose, everything you believed about your life was a lie. Everything Ethan tried to protect you from was real. And now, the truth will be revealed. What truth? I demanded. My voice cracked. My knees felt weak. He stepped closer, and my stomach dropped. You were chosen. You've been watched for a long time. This isn't about your relationship with Ethan. This is about something far greater. You're part of something dangerous. And tonight, it begins. My chest tightened. My mind screamed for answers, but I didn't even know where to start. The knock came again. Louder, more urgent. My head snapped toward the door. I wanted to run, to throw myself at Ethan, to escape whatever was coming, but I was rooted to the floor. One of the men moved toward me, his steps deliberate. I could hear my heart in my ears, beating faster than I thought possible. The man in black said softly, "This moment will change you forever." Alec Rose, are you ready? Before I could answer, the men moved toward me. One reached out, my scream caught in my throat. Everything felt like it was collapsing, the air, the walls, my mind, and then, the world went dark. When I opened my eyes again, nothing was the same. When I opened my eyes, the room was gone. I was somewhere else, cold, dim. The air smelled of metal and dust. My body felt heavy, like I was carrying something I couldn't see. My hands trembled as I tried to stand, but a sharp pain in my side made me gasp. The man in black was there, standing over me, his face still hidden in shadow. "You're awake," he said softly, almost gently, but there was something in his tone that made my blood run cold. "Where am I?" I croaked, my voice weak. "You're somewhere you can't run from," he replied. His voice carried weight, truth I wasn't ready to hear. "Alec, you were chosen because you carry something inside you no one else does. Something powerful, something dangerous, and that is why they came for you." I shook my head. "I don't understand. I just want to go home." He knelt in front of me. "Home doesn't exist for you anymore. Not the home you knew. Everything has changed. Your life, your past. It was all built to prepare you for this moment." I felt tears sting my eyes. My mind was spinning, my heart pounding. "So, Ethan, Lena, were they lying? Protecting me?" "They were protecting you," he said quietly. "But they also couldn't stop this. You have a choice now, Alec. You can step into this truth and face what comes, or turn away and live in ignorance, forever running." I swallowed hard. My thoughts were tangled. My head was pounding with confusion and fear. I thought of Ethan's face, pleading, broken. I thought of Lena, cold, serious, warning me. I thought of the knock at the door. I thought of the moment everything changed. And I realized, this wasn't just my story anymore. This was my life. I looked up at him, my voice trembling. "What happens if I choose the truth?" He didn't answer right away. His silence felt heavier than anything. Then he said softly, "Then the world will never be the same, and neither will you." I took a deep breath. My chest ached. My mind screamed to run, but my soul knew I couldn't. I had to face this. "Yes," I whispered. "I choose the truth." The man in black nodded once. A faint smile crossed his hidden face. "Then it begins." And just like that, the walls around me shifted. The air vibrated. Reality bent. I felt myself pulled into something impossible, something terrifying. And, as I disappeared into the unknown, one thought burned in my mind louder than fear or pain. This was the moment my life became something no one could ever take back. And maybe, just maybe, it was the moment I became free.